Tascam is not widely used in filmmaking. It's more used for like audio professionals, musicians, wedding filmmakers, event filmmakers, stuff like that. Um, hardly, hardly that. Tascam has been known for like a lot of music stuff, but doesn't mean that they don't put out a great product. I've owned two Tascam DR-40s. Let's see what else. I have, or did I sell it? I might have sold it. I had a Tascam XLR recorder, which was pretty cool. You just plug it in at the end of the microphone, and then you just hit record, and it starts recording. Well, that leads me to this. Now, 32-bit has kind of become standard in the audio world when it comes to like field recording, mainly because it's very helpful in situations where you can't control the loudness levels like instantly, or like it's spontaneous, and that's where 32-bit float comes in handy, right? And especially if you're like a solo filmmaker and you're doing audio yourself, you're operating the camera, you're setting up lights by yourself. You know, having a 32-bit recorder, audio recorder, helps because now you don't have to worry about, you don't have to monitor audio, you don't have to set levels every time. You can just focus on capturing whatever it is that you're capturing, the scene or what have you, and then the audio. As long as, I mean, obviously you got to practice good audio recording techniques, but then again, like, there's a lot less to worry about. I know a lot of times where it's like I set, especially when I was on set, I was the only person on set, and I was the cinematographer, and they didn't have a sound person, so then I had to set up audio, and I'm like, look, I'm the cinematographer, I'm not an audio expert, but I have the basic audio tools, so I'm gonna set it, and I'm just gonna leave it, and that's that. What you get is what you get, because I'm not gonna sit there and monitor audio, but then also monitor, operate and monitor the camera, focusing, exposing, yada yada yada, all that jazz, framing. Like, there's a lot going on, and so, but then when I go back in post, it's like, oh, man, the audio's trash. It's clipping. There was a noise or something going on in the background, and who knows what, or yada yada yada. It was a lot of cleaning up in post, and so it was pretty annoying. It was mostly the clipping that really kills audio. Clipping, having that distortion is just really, really bad for audio. And so that's where a tool like this would come in handy. Now, Zoom recently released the H1 XLR, which is very similar to the Tascam FR-AV2. It's 2 channels. It's 32-bit float. The only difference is the Tascam has what's it called? A timecode generator. I think you have to use a Bluetooth adapter for this. Or let's see, no, it has a built-in generator function that acts as a master for timecode synchronization between devices. Now, timecode is awesome. I love timecode. I love using timecode. And having timecode saves a ton of time when it comes to aligning clips in post, aligning your different shots, different cameras, especially if you're doing like a 3-camera shoot, and then you've got to sync everything. You can sync everything with using timecode. As long as you have a timecode on each camera. A lot of higher end cameras, cinema cameras, have timecode where you can jam sync it. So you take a timecode device, jam it, and then you can. Now this has a generator, so that means that you can use the timecode generator off the Tascam, and then you can jam sync it to camera. So it really depends on the connection that you have to make with the camera to sync it. So here we can see you got timecode out and you got timecode in, so you can even jam sync the recorder as well. So timecode out, you would hook up like a 3.5 millimeter stereo cable to that, and with Blackmagic you can jam sync it on the. I think you can jam sync it on both the XLR port, I believe, and then also on the stereo 3.5 millimeter stereo port, and then it'll jam sync that way. So that's the great thing about this. Now, I have, like I said, I have the H1 XLR, and I bought it because it has 32-bit float recording, but then it also, but it doesn't have time code. Doesn't You can't jam sync it. It doesn't have a generator. Mainly because it was dirt cheap. It was really cheap. It's only 150 bucks. I don't know how much this thing is. It doesn't really say. But 32-bit float is where it's at. So let me see real quick how much this thing is. Is there a link somewhere? And it's really small too. Like, it's so tiny. Look at this. Look how big this thing is. Okay. I'm just gonna copy this. Yeah, like 400 bucks. Okay, so you're paying for what's it called? 300 and no, $250 more for just to have time code. Is it worth it? Nah, for a smaller device like that, I don't think so. Because syncing, as long as you capture the audio just fine, you can sync through waveform. As long as you capture the audio on a camera just fine. It's gotten really good in post production.